What is up, guys? This is Steve with Lugaway LLC, and today in this video I'm going to be explaining how to quote large jobs and how to get them done. So let's dive in. Step 1, schedule the walkthrough. You're going to want to schedule this walkthrough after your work hours. I repeat, after your work hours. If you're just starting out in this business or you've been in it for a couple years, you're most likely still on the truck, which means that you're doing the labor part of this job, which is totally fine. But you don't want to bog down your work day with a 30, 45 minute, an hour long quote when you can be out there using that time to make money. You work 8, 9, 10 hour days. Schedule your day-to-day jobs during those hours, before your transfer station or your dump closes. Make all the money you can in the day, and when you're done, that's when you go and do these estimates, do these larger quotes, and it's going to make your life a lot less stressful because you don't have anywhere else to be. You've set it up for 5, 6 o'clock at night. You have all the time in the world. You don't need to answer your phone. You don't need, to get to another job. So you're going to want to schedule these jobs after your work hours. Step 2, complete the walkthrough. You got to think of this walkthrough as your tryout to land the job. And you do not want to go into this thing all high and mighty because, you think it's a payday when the customer told you over the phone, yeah, we think it's a 4 or 5 truck clean out. Like they have any idea what they're talking about. You can't go in there with a big head. It's gonna blow up in your face thinking you're gonna profit all this money off of the job. It's gonna fog your judgment and you're not gonna be able to provide an honest quote to these people. So you need to go in there level-headed and you need to be prepared. So what I consider prepared is you have a flashlight, you have a notepad, and you have a measuring tape. The flashlight and the notepad are in your phone, so you're always going to have those. The measuring tape is not. Bring that with you. The amount of times I've gone from the second floor of a home down to my truck to get the measuring tape, it's just stupid. Bring it with you. It's going to help you in the long run. The measuring tape is there for you to measure items that you don't think will fit out of a doorway, mainly. I mean, you use it for if they want you to demo stuff, you got to measure something. But you're mainly going to use it when you see a massive piece of furniture and you go, oh shit, like, is this going to fit out the doorway? Once you've been doing this long enough, you can eyeball it. Like, I'll go in somewhere and I can tell that the piece of furniture was built in the room and it definitely needs to be broken down for us to get it out of there. If you don't do that, if you don't figure out what needs to be broken down, then you're gonna wind up with an armoire stuck inside someone's doorway, and you're gonna need to push it back into the room it came from, break it down, and bring it out. Now that may only take you 10-15 minutes, which isn't a big deal, but if that happens to you 5 or 6 times on a job, that's an hour's worth of your time that you now have to pass on to the customer that wasn't included in your quote, that just fucked up your day. So just bring the measuring tape with you. It's going to help in the long run until you get very good at eyeballing furniture. During an estate clean out, during a full house clean out, shout out Danny Tanner, the customer is going to want you to take everything that is not attached to the walls. Anything that doesn't have a post-it note on it that's for a friend or family member to come pick up. So you're going to be taking everything that's not attached to the walls. Shelving. Watch out for the shelving. You can have 25 feet of shelving that you didn't think was attached to the walls that you're now taking, and it's going to fuck up your quote. So keep in mind shelving. Sometimes it's screwed into the walls in a couple places to keep it from falling down. Oftentimes you will be taking the shelving. Open up any door that you pass. Bathroom door, attics, crawl spaces, fucking lazy Susans. Open them all up because they are all going to be filled with shit. The amount of times I've gone into a crawl space, which is like a 4x4 little area that these people pack with shit. The amount of times I've gone in there, flashed the light around a bit, I go, all right, next. And then we do the job, and that little area is yielding like a half truck. It just drastically throws off everything. So what I do now is you get a crawl space. If you can't get eyes on everything, and this goes for basements, attics, I don't know if they have a big closet somewhere, just throw out your flashlight, get in there, and get eyes on everything. You're gonna be taking it all either way. So you might as well include it in your quote and not deal with the BS I used to put myself through because I was too lazy to get down and actually go into these areas. So open up all the doors to everywhere. They're gonna lead you to piles and piles of shit. It is a guarantee. You want to get eyes on everything that you're going to be removing. Step 3, piece the truck together. What I mean by that is you need to load the truck in your head as you're going through all these rooms, as you're going through the basement, the attic. You need to piece all that stuff together inside the truck, and that's going to give you your cost. That's going to give you the number that you need to give to the customer and say, this is what I think it's going to take, how many truckloads it's going to take. This is difficult, and the reason it's difficult is one of two things. One is because the entire time you're doing this, you need to keep a conversation going with your customer. I've done huge walkthroughs before, and I'm juggling, trying to remember what the hell is on the second and third floor while we're in the basement. In the meantime, the customer is telling me about how they hate their family, or their pet hamster died. You need to learn how to juggle the two because it's part of the game, and it's going to happen. It's not like if it happens, it 100% is going to happen. So learn how to multitask and learn how to juggle those two. The second reason that piecing the truck together is difficult is because you need to keep track of all of the large items, all of the small items, how long it's going to take you to get stuff out, what's the best exit strategy for some of these items. Can you bring it out the front door? Is it easier to go out a side door? Should you bring everything through, the basement door to the garage? All of this stuff is going to add up in your cost and your estimate to pass on to the customer. What I like to do, piecing the truck together, is start with the large furniture and then work with the small stuff. So I will do essentially 2 walkthroughs. I'll do the first run through just to see everything that we're taking, understand what rooms we're not going into, what stuff we're definitely taking. And then I will do a second one where I piece the truck together. I start with all the large furniture. And the reason being is you want to pack the truck with all of the large furniture that you won't be breaking down or that can't be broken down. Like couches, recliners, these big, old, thick TV cabinets. Stuff that is going to fit in the truck easier with it empty. In the truck, in the trailer, whichever you're using. Whichever is going to fit in there easier. It's like one big game of Tetris. I don't know how many times I've explained this to people. It's like you're playing one massive game of Tetris. So if you have a bunch of small shit, like barreled up stuff that you're putting in the truck first, and then you try and throw a couch on top of that, the couch isn't going to go all the way to the front of the truck. It's going to be, there's going to be some shit in the way. Or you're going to have, your couch or some big piece of furniture is going to be kind of teetering on a box or like a pile of stuff, and it's just not going to fit in there properly. You want to load all of the large stuff in and then top it off with the fluff, is what I like to call it, which is the linens, the dishware, the shit that you're going to be barreling up that you're doing at the ass end of the job. It's going to make packing the truck 1,000 times easier for you, and it's going to save your customer money. If you pack the truck poorly, all you're doing is charging your customer more. Maybe that's how you operate, I don't know. So if you pack the truck poorly and you're charging the customer for, 5 trucks when it can be done in 3 or 4, maybe they find out about it, maybe they don't. But I can guarantee you at some point, one of your customers is going to call you out for it, and you're just going to look like an asshole. And you're going to feel like one too. This business is about being honest. And if you can't be honest with yourself first, then you're shit out of luck. You need to be honest with yourself, and you need to be honest with these customers because they want to feel comfortable about you being in their home. So if you run a reputable business, the business is going to be there. The customers are going to be there, and they're going to keep coming. The referrals are going to kick in after a while. The Google reviews are going to kick in, and you're going to be fine. Referrals are like the best business that you can get because you've already been vetted by the person giving your name to their friend or to their family member that's going to use you eventually. Step 4, providing the quote. After this is all said and done, after you've crawled around in the attic, in the crawl spaces, after you've gone through everything, this is when you give the number to your customer. Now, when I give the number to my customer, it's you provide it one of 2 ways. You either tell them exactly how much it's going to cost, or you give them a ballpark. Now, the ballpark, in my opinion, is the best way to do it because, like I always say, you need to be fair to the customer. If you tell them it's going to be $4,000 and it's really only costing them $3,000 and you fuck them out of $1,000, in my opinion, that's going to come back and bite you in the ass at some point, sooner than later. So what I'll do is say, listen, this is X amount of trucks. I'm finding that it's going to cost between this and this. And the reason I'm not giving you a concrete number is because I don't want you to get screwed out of money. You say it's definitely going to be 3 truckloads. I don't know how much of the 4th it's going to fill, but it's definitely going to be 3. It could very well be 4. I don't see it being 5. And listen, this can work or not work for you. Some people are going to say, so you're telling me it's, $2,000 or $3,000 or what's going on? Or some people are going to say, that's great, I appreciate it. With the people that are saying it's going to be $2,000 or $3,000, they want a concrete number, go with the higher number because you don't want to get screwed out of anything. It's not your problem. They're hiring you to do the work. You're trying to be fair to them. Another thing you want to do when you're providing the quote is ask them about their timeline. Ask them when they want this to get done or how soon they need it to get done, because the best case scenario for us, for our junk removal businesses, is we go in last. They have their family members come and take all the shit that they don't want. They have the movers come, and then us. Once the movers come, everything else that is left there is ours. And it's the easiest way to do it because you don't have to say, oh, did she mean to label this dresser? Because I could have sworn she told me that she wanted us to take it the first time around. Sometimes you can do it that way, sometimes you can't. The problem you're going to run into if you're coming before the movers, and I'm guaranteeing this is going to happen, if you come before the movers, you're going to take everything, the movers are going to come, and the customer's going to call you and say, we didn't end up taking that, refrigerator in the basement, and we're closing tomorrow. Can you come and get this? And you're looking at your schedule and you're like, I don't have time to do that. And it just becomes a problem. You want to help them out, and you'd probably be able to charge them a little more money to do so, but it just becomes a headache. So if you can be the last guys in there, that is going to help you out a great deal versus, doing the full house clean out, the estate clean out, and then coming back for the scraps that they didn't really want once the movers got there. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen. So be prepared for that and figure out when you're able to get your guys in there. And that is basically it, guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Hit the subscribe button. We have a couple more videos we're working on. As everyone knows, it's the busy season right now, so everyone's bogged down with work. The first video that I put out regarding how to price a truck, I had a lot of people reach out on our Instagram page saying, you know, I wish this was out when I started, which is exactly why I put it out. There's very little mentoring in junk removal. It's kind of, you know, figure it out as you go. So I'm trying to provide all the information for you guys who are starting out, all the little screw ups and, you know, the little shit that you don't want to have to deal with if you don't have to. So I'm trying to provide that for you guys as much as I can in the best way that I can. So any questions, leave them in the comments below. Please hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.